Welcome back. I'm making cornbread. Well, not just any cornbread. I'm making cornbread from scratch. It is time to break the generational curse of Jiffy Mix. So today we're going to tackle cornbread. It is a Friday night. I'm all alone. Well, I have got Ebony and Ivory here. And I have no one to talk to, so let's cook. So I think I found a pretty good recipe. It seems pretty straightforward. I'm gonna need butter, eggs, honey, buttermilk, baking soda, baking powder, brown sugar, flour, and fine yellow cornmeal. I typically have all these ingredients in my kitchen with the exception of buttermilk, but it's easy to make buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you can just combine milk and vinegar or milk and lemon juice. Pretty simple, but I have real buttermilk because I tend to find that it works better than the fake buttermilk. I don't know, it might be my own personal perception, but I'm gonna give this a shot. The reviews say it's pretty good, so hopefully it's good. And I'm supposed to start by preheating my oven to 425. 425, that's pretty high. And then I'm supposed to put my cast iron skillet in there while it's heating up with a bit of butter. I mean, I know my cast iron skillet has been seasoned. You don't really wash it with soap and water because, it'll ruin all the good flavors. My grandma would roll in her grave if she found out I put soap and water in here. Sure there was a better way to do this, but whatever. Alright, I'm gonna put that in the oven to preheat. Now, growing up, my mom used to make cornbread for every kind of Sunday type dinner you could think of. Think soul food, right? She would make cornbread with our sweet potatoes, greens, chicken, whatever. She'd always make it, but I don't believe she ever made it from scratch. I think that every time she made cornbread, it was from the accursed Jiffy Mix. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I really like Jiffy Mix cornbread. It's just that I enjoy making myself do work that I don't need to and losing sleep because I didn't get it done perfectly the first time. So we're all gonna suffer together and we're gonna make it from scratch and we're gonna have a good time. My mom would put sour cream and sugar in her Jiffy Mix cornbread, so it'd be a little sweet, a little fluffy and stuff, and I loved it so much. I used to eat that up, and I want to try to get that kind of consistency. However, I'm not going to be putting sour cream in this because that's not what the recipe calls for. I think the buttermilk would be a good, kind of close second to that, because when you make the Jiffy Mix, all you're adding is, an egg and some milk? That's it. Yeah, I think the buttermilk would be a pretty good substitute, but the goal today is for us to become cornbread masters. I mean, what better way to waste a Friday evening than to master cornbread? My training's not complete. I have to master this.
Who's that Pokemon?
Cornbread.
Next, I'm gonna do the dry ingredients, which, let's see if I can, 1.5 cups of cornmeal, 1/2 cup of flour. Alright, let's mix that. That seems about right. I need 1/2 cup. Yes, 1/2 cup. I'm gonna need salt, baking powder. Let me grab those things. So if you're wondering why cornbread, especially, why make a Sunday meal item on a Friday, I don't really have an answer to that. It's one of those things that I just feel like I've always wanted to make well. I mean, anyone can bake cookies, but how many people can say they know how to make a really good cornbread? My teaspoon spoon got lost in the garbage disposal. Well, it didn't get lost. It got destroyed in the garbage disposal. So I'm using a fourth spoon right now. Baking soda. And then last is brown sugar. You know, something important I've always learned when it comes to baking is that if you're looking at a recipe, you should really read it before you get started. The last thing you want to do is to, pick out all the ingredients and then you start throwing stuff together, and the recipe has a very particular way it's supposed to be put together, and you're skipping steps and it's a mess. So it's kind of something I've had to learn how to do over time, is to really read. I know it sounds stupid, but funny, because when I used to play video games a lot, I would always read the manual so that I could play right and not have the crushing defeat of losing to my little sister. So I really should have picked that up when it came to cooking, because you can lose a video game and not really lose much of anything else, but wasting ingredients is a lot more painful and ruining a recipe, especially when you have such high expectations of yourself. Alright, that's how it's looking right now. I'm gonna mix it with my hands, because why not? Really get it all blended together. Alright, now I'm supposed to combine the milk, the eggs, and the honey, then add it into the dry mix. But the butter goes last. Get this pan out of here. It's not supposed to sit there the whole time. Ah! Smoke! I'll turn the vent fan on. Crisis averted for now. So, eggs, milk. Alright, now we need to combine the wet and the dry ingredients. But this specifically says don't overmix. And I really hate when recipes say that, because how do you know when you've overmixed things? And I've baked a lot of things, like cakes. Sometimes especially if it's an airy cake, you don't want to overmix it because it'll turn dense and it'll deflate and stuff. But I don't really know how you measure that for cornbread. It's starting to have that Jiffy mix consistency. Ooh. I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing. That we're trying not to be like Jiffy. I have nothing against Jiffy, by the way. I think it's really good cornbread. Alright, now I'm supposed to add most of the butter, but save 2 tablespoons of it. So I don't have salted butter. This is unsalted butter, which is fine. The recipe calls for both. But magic trick, if you don't have salted butter, you add what, class? Of course you add salt. There. So you can add a bit of salt to this, and I guess that'll give it its extra kick, which is weird because the recipe already says there's salt in it. Whatever. We're gonna add some salt to our butter. Just kind of winging it right now. Usually when I see recipes that say add unsalted butter, if you have salted butter, you can still make it, but you can't add salt in other parts of the recipe. Like for cookies, for example, if you're making cookies, recipe says unsalted butter, but you have salted butter, go ahead, make the cookies with the salted butter, but eliminate the salt in the other parts of the recipe. But this doesn't say that, so just to brush my hot skillet with the remainder of the salted butter. Ooh, that little puddle, that means it's gonna get that real nice crispy bit going. All right, into the oven for 20 minutes. I'm feeling pretty good. I hope this recipe turns out well. I hope that we've mastered cornbread. I mean, I guess you can't really be a master from the first try, but alrighty, moment of truth. If it comes out clean, that means it's done. I'm pretty pleased with the results. I'm so proud of us. I mean, this is just on looks alone, but I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna top it with some more salted butter. Gotta give it that southern feel. I mean, if anyone's southern and is watching this, I'm sorry if I'm offending you. So do we dig in or do we wait for it to cool? I know that a lot of recipes say that you're supposed to wait for it to cool because it kind of changes the consistency when you cut into hot, usually breads. It kind of makes them a little more dense because it hasn't settled down. But, I mean, you are supposed to eat cornbread hot. I mean, okay, maybe you're not. I don't know. Whenever I eat cornbread, I like it to be hot. And so I'm gonna go for it. Wait, do you guys cut your cornbread into squares or triangles? Because for me, it really depends on what kind of pan it's in. If it's in a round pan, I usually do triangles. If it's in a square pan, I do squares because it'd be pretty psychopathic to cut triangles into a square pan. Probably should have waited for it to cool because it's like breaking apart. It's so hot. So a bit of it broke off, and I'm gonna go ahead and try it. See how it is. It's really good. I'm impressed. I mean, the recipe did say it was really good, and I think it turned out really great. You can taste the saltiness without it being too salty. The honey's a good touch. It's really buttery. It's pretty light too, which I'm impressed because normally when I see people make homemade cornbread, it's really dry. Kind of like the cornbread you make when you are doing like stuffing for Thanksgiving. But I like how fluffy it is. I love how buttery it is. It's so good. Well, I guess I'll eat my cornbread dinner. I mean, it'd be great to pair this with something because, here I have this big thing of cornbread, and what am I supposed to eat it with? Oh, where did that come from? A full-blown dinner? I know this is a really weird meal for, a Friday, but we gotta normalize Sunday dinners any day of the week. So I'm gonna have my cornbread with some mac and cheese, green beans, sweet potatoes, because there's no better pairing than cornbread and sweet potatoes, and some air fryer wings. Yeah, air fryer. Yeah, I can't say that right. Air fryer wings. And I hope this video wasn't a complete waste of your time. I know I look a mess. It's been a long day, and this is the only time I could get to it. The end of a Friday. It is almost midnight, but you know what? It was worth it. We've earned our gym badge. I don't know if we're quite cornbread masters, but we're on the way, because you know what? Ash never gave up. He's been trying to be the very best for 90% of my life. I don't know, but we get the feeling that he's going to eventually get there. So I wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon growing up. I didn't actually watch it until I was like in middle school secretly, because my mom thought that all the Pokemons were like demons and stuff. So yeah. I'm going to enjoy my meal, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye, neighbor.
Cornbread.